the Yindjibarni community in northwestern Australia is deeply affected by Fortescue Metal Group's aggressive corporate interference in their country. The CEO of Yindjibarni Aboriginal Corporation, Michael Woodley, claims that FMG's actions are a direct assault on the native Australian group.
I think what we want to say is that, look, this is our land, even though if we're moving towards a contemporary society, it's still our land. And therefore, if you're taking away something from somebody, you need to compensate properly, or you need to first and foremost get their free, prior and informed consent.
Section 18, how do you feel about that process where it seems to be manipulable by individual consultants and the people at the top of the tree who have got quite a lot of wealth?
I haven't seen a more discriminating process than this process, the Section 18 process. The people who are applying for the destruction of our sites are the industry proponents, who they've first and foremost owned the information by engaging these dodgy, archaeologists or anthropologists to come into our community, do up these dodgy reports, present it to an ACMC committee who has no power whatsoever, to make any decisions but recommendation to the minister. And the minister is always going to, favour and side with the miners because it comes down to public interest. And all of this process without the involvement of the traditional owners who identified those sites in the first place and who those sites belong to.
So you think the decision would be in the public interest but not in the interest of the Yindjibarni people, is that correct?
Well, this is how they frame it. They frame it with the public is the city of Perth. And the Yindjibarni is only about 1,000 members. So whose interest does this mining really serve? Our culture and our history get wiped out of the face of this earth because of people living in the city. Basically, this is the public interest.
We've been around for 60,000 years, and that time we got a voice in Parliament and everything, and self-determination. So give us the right. We need to do more. They need to just put us there and say, right, this is your land, but you have a say on it. We're handing it back to you to have your own constitution, to make your own decisions, and to tell us what to do, not we tell you.
It wasn't that long ago that Andrew Forrest was on nationwide TV talking about the Solomon Hub. How do you feel about royalties being described as mining welfare?
We've been educated, we're intelligent people, we know how to run our own lives. By making those comments, he clearly doesn't have any confidence in Indigenous people whatsoever that we can manage any wealth coming out of our country. You want to keep Aboriginal people in chains and working for free, and tobacco and flour and sugar and just closing the back. He doesn't want to see Indigenous people empower themselves from the wealth of our nation.
If you want to join me one evening after 11 o'clock at night and walk down the streets of Roban and have little girls come up to you like they have to me and offer themselves for any type of service I don't want to mention on television for the cost of a cigarette, then you know you've come to the end of the line. The social breakdown is complete. Now, I'm not going to encourage with our cash that kind of behaviour, Kerry.
He made some very demeaning comments about the girls from Roban. I believe he also made similar comments, I think, about the Halls Creek community. Do you think this could be a sort of tactic by FMG to escape their moral obligations in the returns Aboriginal people get from their land?
Well, I think he's trying to showcase to the rest of the nation that Indigenous people in small communities like Roban or Halls Creek or wherever else he's going to be developing his project, that they can't manage their community. What hope they got managing large lumps of funds? So he's trying to justify himself, I think, by paying a bad compensation for destruction of country, and putting it down to that Indigenous people aren't capable of really managing anything because they can't even fix up their own homes.
And it's all about money. So FMG, whatever they are, Andrew Forrest, he should say he got all these jobs for Aboriginal people. But as an old Noongar told me, Yindjibarni said, he said, when all the money that he's given us is gone, he's still getting money out of the burner, that means the ground. So he's winning. and they're going to be losing.
Fortescue Metals Group declined our request for comment.